talk about random things. I am here with Angel, Bianca, Jesus, and me, Kimson, as your host for today. Hey, how is everybody doing today?
Hi, I'm Bianca and I'm doing well right now.
Hi, I'm Angel and I'm doing fine right now.
Hi, I'm Jesusa and I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
That's great to hear! In today's episode will be called Philosophical Anatomy, where we will be discussing our insights about philosophy. Now everyone, for you, what is philosophy?
I've been looking forward to answering such questions. Philosophy, according to me, is the definition itself about anything and everything. It indeed represents the gist of your intellect. The manner you choose to visualize a situation, the way you look at it, and the very thought that triggers you after analyzing it, and not judging it, and then the beauty in which you express it, it is the philosophy itself.
Oh wow, those are some extremely insightful philosophical ideas. While as for me, I think philosophy is what we use in our daily lives. For some people, they may hate or don't like philosophy, but many people have come to love it. People can widen their thoughts and learn what is actually significant in our life by studying philosophy. I think there should be more interest in philosophy since it can help us understand why certain things happen, like how a friendship develops. Philosophy unquestionably makes you consider how the universe functions and what we should be thinking about against what we actually worry about in our daily lives. Simply, philosophy is everywhere.
Well, technically, this ideology concerns the origin of knowledge.
What do you mean by that?
The concept is widely understood to include the idea that distinct things are separable in the sense that each can exist without the other. This suggests the means of using shared experience and common language to analyze rational and reasoned concepts and abstracts. Occasionally, this distinction separates the way things appear to us from how things actually look.
Oh, now I get it. In the sense of what you have said, we can generally make or analyze a reason through experience or even observation. It can occur whether the concept can exist to be a fact in the world or simply can be justified by a rule or system. In some way or another, philosophy can be associated with the works of humanity in terms of how they respond towards a specific approach.
To be exact, philosophy is a part of humanity because it is a fluid and flexible area that allows discussion of everyday aspects of human experience. It offers some of the fundamental instruments for self-expression, as well as it improves one's capacity to explain challenging information, helps one articulate what makes their viewpoint unique, and aids the removal of ambiguity and vagueness from one's writing and speaking.
And where the sciences are devoid of the human interaction and their social consequences, philosophy is pregnant with the potential to inspire whole people in an edifying concept of compassion and love.
I remember during philosophy, we studied about human existence, right? And what's really interesting to say that there was this guy, I think it was Martin Heidegger, that described human existence as this two approach. One is existential, which focuses on how we create meaning into our own lives, and the other is metaphysical approach, which examines the components of the human's way of life.
Well, in the olden days, a great philosopher named René Descartes stated in his view on human nature that a living mortal is the union of mind and body. The vision of reason was one where the human mind examines itself and stabilizes. It examines itself, finds itself to be consistent, and thus actually becomes consistent. Epistemology is the weakness of Western philosophy, and attempts to overcome that.
There are actually a lot of approaches that come to what really makes us human, but above all, the humans are known to be rational, unlike other living beings. We have the freedom to act and think what is necessary. Humans go beyond their limitations or so-called obstacles, which are based on our intentions to make the choice that results in our future.
There are multiple theories about what makes us human several that are related or interconnected. The topic of the human existence has been pondered for thousands of years. In the fact, the very act of contemplating what makes us human is unique among animal species. What do you think?
I managed to find something as well in the theory of human mind specifically. This one is called type physicalism, whereas it claims that mental events can be grouped into types and correlated with types of physical events in the brain. It can now be understood as claiming that there is identity between types. Proponents of these views argue that classifications, such as pain, may need to be revised, as stories of demonic possession have been challenged by advances in science.
Oh, I think I found something that is in connection with what you have said. Both philosopher Herbert Vigel and John Smart interpreted that the identity between the reference of two senses, the sensation and the brain process, are of the same thing. Although it objectifies the lack of equality, their response was to invoke the distinction that sensation and brain processes have different meanings, but they both relate to the same physical phenomenon. Furthermore, the assertion that sensations are brain operations is dependent rather than absolute.
In addition to those, according to U.T. Place, who contributed before in the popularization of the concept of type identity, he claimed that the reason for the resistance to any such conception of the mind was because of philosophers and logicians have not yet shown a significant level of interest in such surrounding identity and referential identification in general. It is more accurate to refer to Place's interpretation of the relation of identity as a relation of composition. Higher level mental events for Place are built from lower level physical events and will subsequently be analytically reduced to them.
There is the opposing idea which conducted these theories. The first one is mental states can be realized in the multiple types of system, not just in the brain. Another concept of qualia, where this is because a person has some direct perception of the nature of such qualitative mental states, and those nature are somehow qualitative brain states. Oh, it seems like it's time to end the episode here. Any last remark before we end?
Taking everything into account, philosophy is a quest for a comprehensive understanding of the world. This is the activity people do when trying to understand basic truths in themselves. Therefore, philosophical questions arise in almost every field. It is not only the answers and arguments themselves that motivate the study of philosophy, but whether the arguments are relevant and the answers are true.
Ah, right. Lastly, philosophy expands our minds to analyze all things, to think critically, and to help us with decision making. It connects us through our lives and we become aware of how things work. It creates different approaches and relatively sets on logics and truths of certain statements and beliefs. In other words, philosophy revolves around us, and it is important to acknowledge it.
So I guess this is the end of our episode. I hope the viewers learned very much about philosophy and see you next time, everyone.